Good morning, my brothers and sisters. I hope it's as beautiful a morning wherever you are as it is here in Redmond today. Blue sky and sun. Wonderful spring to summer day coming to be. And that's kind of the spirit, I think, of which we are living in the church as well as in our culture in the face of the pandemic of coronavirus. And I just want to update you a bit here this morning on the measures we're taking in the Diocese of Baker. Yesterday I published a decree in the Diocesan Chronicle. You'll find it there in the Diocesan Chronicle about the reopening of masses in the Diocese of Baker. As you know, we canceled public masses back in March when the coronavirus slammed into us. But now as the state begins to open up the economy and everything, so in the church we're trying to do our best to do that as well. So let me just say a few things about it. You can read the document there. I'm not going to read it to you now, just a couple points that are important, and then a few other reflections about the situation we're in. The basic principle under this reopening is that the dispensation from the obligation to attend Sunday Mass, which was given in March, the dispensation to all Catholics within the territory of the Diocese of Baker who are not obliged to attend Sunday Mass until the coronavirus threat diminishes to the point when we can do it feasibly, that dispensation continues. That doesn't change. Everyone is dispensed from the obligation to attend Sunday Mass. That being said, we are now going to proceed to celebrate public masses in the diocese again, in the churches of the diocese. We're starting on Monday, this coming Monday, the 11th of May, with daily masses. Depending on the size of the parish, there will be extra masses necessary to accommodate people. It all depends on the size of the parish, how this is going to work out in wherever you are. Because it has to be arranged according to the number of people that the church can accommodate, as well as accommodating the 25-person limit at present. So I won't go into the details of that except to say that this is the basis on which we're proceeding, which incidentally is authorized in the Oregon Health Authority notice from April, specifically saying religious services can be held for 25 people. We have been having regular teleconferences, Father Fisher and myself, with the priests of the diocese, so we're all kind of, I think, on the same page here. It's been very encouraging to me to see the spirit in the parishes and the desire to take up worship of God once again. So we have this plan to open up this 25-person limit masses every day of the week, including the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, when there may be more masses arranged, depending on the need and the availability of priests and so on. But the idea is that you could look ahead to either a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, and find a place to go to Mass. You'll have to somehow or other let the parish know so we can have adequate preparations made to accommodate that number of people. The church will have been marked off and socially distanced dimensions, so that we're taking every effort to make things as safe as the common measures we take in the culture are providing. So the idea is that when you come to church, we want you to be assured that you'll find a safe place. And of course that's going to mean one of the things is that we're going to try to make things shorter. We're going to celebrate the Mass in a way that doesn't take as long, because the longer people are congregated in one place, the more likely there might be transmission. But also my idea is to start small, to pare things down to the basic essentials, and then to build on that as time goes by. I view this first week as a real learning experience for us to figure out what works and what can we do differently, how can we make it more smooth, how can we make it work smoother so we can get down to what we're there for, which is to praise God and to join one another in praising God. So I hope this will be a step in the right direction. And there'll probably be problems and frustrations. I'd be amazed if there aren't. So I have to ask everyone to please be patient. Please be patient. It's the idea is that this is a way to bring us back to the Mass and the sacraments incrementally. We're not going to, it's not that we're just going to stop here at this limit, but this is the way to get started to come back in the months ahead. So please, St. Paul says love is patient before it's anything else. So please, please be patient. Now, there are those I know, I've heard from people that say, "Well, Bishop, this is too soon. It's too dangerous to take these measures, and as long as the threat is still there." And I appreciate the letters that I've gotten about this from all sides that have expressed opinions on it. It's very helpful for me to know what you're thinking. So please keep doing that. However, in our diocese, as the bishop of this diocese, responsible for the faith of the people of this diocese, I look around in the Diocese of Baker and we have very, very few cases of coronavirus, very, very few deaths. And there's no sign that I know that there's of a great increase in that danger. And so it seems to me that we need to be prudent and take, first of all, to protect those that are most vulnerable, to protect them from contagion, and then go ahead as best we can with those that are less vulnerable and less likely to get the illness. And be careful, but to proceed instead of just being locked up all the time. Now, if you're worried about this, don't come to Mass. If you are concerned that you'll be exposed to the virus, don't come to Mass. If you're elderly, we know the ones that are most vulnerable. Those that are elderly, those that have pre-existing conditions of serious grave illness, especially immunosuppressive, immune system deficiencies, and those that have in that kind of vulnerability. Also, those that just emotionally are very, very upset by this and just can't handle it. Don't come to Mass until you're perfectly settled at coming to Mass. I don't say don't practice the faith. Listen to the live stream Masses. My live stream Masses will continue daily on Sundays, in English and Spanish on Sundays. So you're more than welcome. We've got plenty of room here in our little chapel to accommodate all of you that watch on the television. So you're most welcome to do that. In fact, that's a great link for me. I've come to have a sense of being together with a lot of people as this has gone on. So do that, and then only when you're completely at ease with coming to Mass, then you can come. But don't do that, and you're not obliged to put yourself at risk in this situation. Two practical notes that you'll find them in the decree mentioned. I'll just call attention to them. Families who come to Mass are not obliged to maintain social distancing from each other. So if I have my wife and my children, and I have 3 children, we can all sit together as a group. We need to be separated by 6 feet from anybody else, but we don't need to be separated from ourselves. And the second one is that the wearing of face masks is strongly encouraged when you come to Mass. That's perfectly encouraged, so feel free to do that. Well, those are the fundamental points in the opening up decree that's on the website. I'd like just to say a few points about the future, what we can look forward to. And first of all, that would be, I would want to notice that St. Paul says, and we're instructed in the Scripture, to pray for our leaders, to pray for those who govern us. And so we must pray for our leaders here in Oregon and in the nation. But especially in Oregon, the governor and the county officials that have these very, very complicated and difficult decisions to take. I don't envy them the need to do that. I don't envy it at all. So we need to pray for them. I pray for the governor at Mass and for every day of the week. Having said that, it's quite legitimate to question the enduring applicability of these norms, these social distancing norms. As I look at around the diocese, it's one thing to limit Mass to 25 people in St. Bernard's in Jordan Valley, which would be a sizable percentage of the church, I guess, relatively. Another thing to say that you can only have 25 people in St. Francis in Bend. it's one size fits all. And the question that occurs to me is the people, I don't know who's making these decisions. I've not been asked to have any input into these decisions. But I wonder, have they ever been in a Catholic church? Do they know anything about what Catholic worship entails? Do they know how much it means to people to come to Mass and how important it is to our faith? I don't know if they know these things. But what has happened is that this one-size-fits-all has become the standard. And it seems to me it's perfectly legitimate to question that and to request that that size be promptly expanded. That we can, I think of, I get used to going to Safeway, and you see, I guess, hundreds of people in Safeway, in Costco. There's all kinds of people, they observe social distancing, but there's interaction and everything, and we're used to that. Why can we not do that in our churches? And in fact, we could probably do it, I would think, more safely than they can do in these giant big stores. So these are very important questions because the danger here in a situation like this of great crisis is that we get used to things. And there's one thing we must not get used to as Catholics. We must not get used to letting the state tell us how to worship God. This is not negotiable. And so we need to maintain our vigilance about our right to religious liberty. We are American citizens, and we need to be very conscious of that right in this time of pandemic. Well, there's one other thing I'll just call your attention to, since I've got you on the line. Our staff here at the Pastoral Center, we work from home, but we meet on these Zoom meetings twice a week. And a couple of weeks ago, the staff suggested that I would write, given the fact that people can't go to communion, can't get to Mass and go to communion, that I would write something about this, the importance and the relationship of communion and Mass. And I thought that was a good idea, and so I've been thinking about it, and I finally came across, delivered something. So for whatever it's worth, you can find those reflections in the Diocesan Chronicle, the issue that's coming out this week. So I draw your attention to that. It's called Communion, Mass and Communion. Enough for me now. Go out and enjoy the day, and may God bless you and keep you.